Fiona D'Souza and Jonah Connor from the Sydney Adventist Hospital, a long-established private hospital in the northern suburbs of Sydney, were nominated as winners of the poster competition, winning an iPad. Their poster was titled Aseptic Non-Touch Technique, ANTT, Competency Training and Assessment. Here they talk about preparing the poster and what they learned during the process.
We developed the ANTT or Aseptic Non-Touch Technique as a result of the Standard 3 that we're actually going to be all being assessed in January with. So we thought, well, we'll incorporate it with our current policies and procedures and our competency packages that we've already got at the SAN. So we developed it alongside with our SAN education programme. So we developed the competencies and then an e-learning package that obviously looked at aseptic technique and aseptic non-touch technique.
Fiona, did you come across any surprises when you were looking at the research and started to prepare your poster?
I guess one of the things that we found surprising was something called wound field theory. It's something that we had seen in some new graduates. They were first year nurses, they were considered appropriate, they had been employed by the hospital, and their aseptic technique failed on first assessment because they had not been taught aseptic non-touch technique or aseptic technique. They'd been taught wound field theory. So that was a surprise to us that the students coming through, the nurses, new graduate nurses coming through, weren't actually taught what we expected they would know. So that was a big surprise.
How do you think the work that you have done will make a difference?
Well, I think we've sort of brought ANTT, although ANTT has always been there, I think we've brought it out into the foreground, into not just our environment, but other environments within Australia as well, because we've had lots and lots of feedback even prior to us producing the actual poster.
Was it good fun putting the poster together?
Yeah, it was. You know, we wouldn't have done it if it hadn't been for all the encouragement we got. We had this discussion on the Infection Connection Forum. We had a lot of people contacting us about how have you set it up, what have you done, we don't know what to do, help us out, and we're quite willing to share that because we know it was a challenge for us. And then we had people actually contact us, and I had a few emails saying, please put something together for the conference. Can you do a poster for the conference? Can you think about doing something for the journal? Can you do something? Because we just don't know where to start. So, you know, that was fun. Yeah, and we've had a lot of good feedback from this conference as well. I mean, winning the actual poster was a real plus for us, but the number of people that came up to us even before we had those results has been really positive, so it's good.
You seem to have had a lot of fun putting this together. Are you going to put together another poster for Darwin next year?
I think so.
I think we will,
I think we will,
definitely.
We've just got to come up with a very good topic.
Thank you very much. I'm talking to Ruth Kiagi from the Garuka General Hospital in the highlands of Papua New Guinea. Ruth is here for the 2012 conference, and we have asked Ruth what are some of the issues that she faces every day as an infection prevention and control professional.
Yes, I'm from the Garuka Hospital, and there are so many issues that we face during as an infection control nurse. The most common ones are the problem with the water supply. We normally face a lot of problem when there is no water. We used to use the small buckets to fetch water in order to rinse on all our instruments and do our cleaning. And we have a small tank, and this small tank is only in one of the wards, while the other wards, they don't have this small 1,000-liter tank. And the other problem is electricity, shortage of power. Normally the power goes off anytime, and due to this power problem, it wrecks most of our electrical equipment like computer, and one of the recently new autoclave machine was wrecked due to this power problem. And the other issue is the lack of instruments. we do not have instruments to do so many procedures at the same time. With so many patients coming in, we are constantly running out of instruments. So these are some of the issues that really affect the infection control. And due to when the water is going out, we used to use a small dish to rinse all our equipment in the dish with no, continually flowing of water, and we used to rinse all the instruments and then dry them all in one small area with other pans and the things together. There is no proper place to dry the tubings and all this, so all is in one area.
So tell us a bit about your hand hygiene problems and how you've gone about solving them.
Okay, hand hygiene is a big problem. We were having this problem of not enough continuing supply of the alcohol to make the locally produced alcohol and rub. So we have to wait for the companies or the supplier to supply us the alcohol. But at the moment, we are having a good supply with a company nearby, and it's a continuous supply, and we are constantly supplying the wards with alcohol and rub. And we are having a problem with the bottles for to refill the alcohol. But with the help of Maggie, infection control officer here, and Bevs, they brought us some extra bottles, and at the moment we are having enough supply to each ward, a ward of 60 patients with 5 to 10 containers in each ward.
The study that Ruth has done shows that when she began in 2008, only 3% of all healthcare workers undertook some form of hand hygiene. So Ruth, tell us a bit more about the progress since 2008.
Since 2008, the hand hygiene progress was only 3% because we do not have this alcohol hand rub and all the other necessary things. And it moved up to 44% in 2011, but at that time our computer got broke and we haven't put the new details in there. In 2008, which was the baseline study, it was around 3%, and then it moved up gradually to 44% in 2011. That was our hand hygiene. Yeah.
Are you happy with that success?
Oh yes, I'm very much happy. And with the 5 bottles, it has gone up to 44%.
So Ruth, tell us how you managed to succeed in this process.
Okay. I would like to thank the executive of Goroka Hospital, who have been very supportive in rolling out this infection control program. With the help of the link nurses in their respective areas, and the mattresses, with the help of the management, we are able to get new mattress cover, and which make it easier to do cleaning on those mattresses.
Ruth, tell us a bit more about the link nurses.
The link nurses are the ward managers and senior people in their own respective areas. The major wards, the nurses that are in there is the ward managers, and they are the very ones who is carrying out this infection control in their own respective areas.
Tell us a bit more about the work you did in teaching the cleaners to use the chemicals and go about their cleaning.
Previously, we used to have so many chemicals. We used to use different type of chemicals, but with the introduction of infection control and with the help of Maggie, she's teaching us on how to use a standardized chemical, which is neutral detergent. So at the moment, we are using neutral detergent and teaching the cleaners how to do proper cleaning, from high to low, and clean to dirty, and this is a type of education where we teach the cleaners in how to do proper cleaning in their respective sector.
Ruth, tell us a bit more about your internal surveys.
Okay. During this year, we have our internal survey, and we did very well in infection control, on waste management, sharps, and hand hygiene, and it was a very good result. In patient education, I was talking to the Susu Mama. Susu Mama is the breastfeeding mothers for the premature babies, and these are the mothers who lack very much education on coughing etiquette. So I taught them on how to do a proper coughing etiquette and cleanliness. In the TB ward, I gave health education on the coughing etiquette, how to use a proper way of coughing, and overcrowding, not to be so many in one room, and not to spit unnecessarily, to control their sputum and to dispose, proper way of disposing the sputum. And the other health education that was taught through infection control was radio talkback on hand hygiene, and we gave a talk on how to do a proper hand hygiene in the villages and the remote areas where the people live, how to do a proper hand hygiene.
Deb, tell me why we should be credentialed.
Well, credentialing is a peer review process, so that means that people going through that process, once they're successful, have a greater standing within the infection control community, and that's because the peers actually know what they're doing and know how to truly assess whether somebody meets the criteria.
How difficult is the process of credentialing?
The process isn't difficult. In fact, it's specifically designed to allow the person to showcase work they've already done, so they're actually being rewarded a second time for work they've already done, and it's recognition of that work.
Deb, is support available for people when they are being credentialed?
Absolutely. If any prospective applicant wanting to go through the process is free to contact any member of the credentialing committee, who'll be more than happy to provide advice, provide them with support, and clarify any questions or issues that they may have, and most importantly, even be prepared to read drafts of their application if that would be useful to the applicant.
We're talking to Michael Wishart, who is the moderator for our discussion for the Infection Connection. What are some of the ideas and some of the issues that people have brought up recently?
The whole purpose of Infection Connection is that we've got a wealth of experienced ICPs out there as members of the college, and we need to be able to get some of that information when we're a novice or when we're in a situation we haven't been in before. And to be able to share that information, we need a way to do that. And that's what Infection Connection is about. It's about connecting people together so they can share their wealth of experience in infection prevention and control. And it's just a simple way to do it by sharing emails, asking questions, and then replying to those emails as you have time.
What are some of the ideas and some of the issues that people have brought up recently?
We've had a really interesting discussion lately about healthcare workers washing their gloved hands with alcohol rubs or even with soap and water washes, and all the problems that could be and how you change that kind of behaviour. And it's been really interesting discussions from clinicians at the coalface about that particular issue. It's been great. Yeah.
And Michael, how easy is it to join in?
It's extremely easy to join. You don't need to know anything about anything. You just simply send an email to a certain address, or you can go to our specific Infection Connection website and join through that.
What are some of the benefits of the new college, Wendy?
one of the big advantages I see of us being a college now is that the media will seek us out for our professional advice and give us greater opportunities to expose the world of infection control to the public, which I feel that people do want to hear what we have to say. We're an expert body of people who have, we can make position papers more easily, such as, for example, we did make a simple one on pet visitation, so that allows people to be guided by one single policy nationally.
Wendy, you've had a lot of experience in running an association. What are some of the key things we need to be conscious of when we are working with members working in remote areas?
It's a big problem being remote. We need to ensure that we've got to find ways to bring people to the table. For example, and this was asked of me just recently, how I've run breakfast meetings within my region, and I've been able to bring people from all walks of life, not only infection control nurses, but people who have an added interest, and I would hope that they would think then they would gain additional advantages by becoming members of our college, because then they can hear what we've got. I think with the people that work remotely, we need to ensure that we either run webinars, video conferencing. We've got to ensure that we can get out to them. The other way that I had thought, and I really enjoyed 2 years ago, I think it was, that we had a road show on renovations. It was very well supported from all regions. We're able to bring the rural people into those type of workshops, and I'd like to explore more of those options as the college goes forward.
What developments have you seen happen in the Infection Prevention and Control Association?
Well, I think another good thing that I believe that if we continue now to have national conferences every year, and as one of the speakers brought up today, it no longer can be called a national conference because we're Australasian, we should be an international conference, and I thought that was a very valid point that they brought up during the talks. I think that by now having it nationally, we can bring better workshops, we can incorporate more of the region, the Asian Pacific region, into our college, and that will help us grow because we are deemed to be experts.
Brett, what are some of the advantages of publishing in healthcare infection?
Well, first and foremost with healthcare infection, it's a great journal to share your findings of your research. It can be disseminated to people in the Australasian Pacific region, and through indexation in many abstracts services, your work can be shared right across the world.
How can people get involved with the journal?
There are a number of reasons why people should get involved with the journal. First and foremost is sharing your information, sharing your research. As infection control professionals, often when we go to write policies or practice or we're looking to discuss issues with colleagues, we look for evidence, and often that evidence for clear, small practical issues is missing. And that can be achieved by people contributing to the journal through letters to the editor, case reports and case reviews. People can also get in the journal a number of other ways, through encouraging their peers to look at articles, downloading articles from the journal's website, and citing healthcare infection articles where relevant. The journal is becoming increasingly important in this region, and I'd encourage people to be looking at the journal for infection control issues in this area.
What is a good way for people to start doing some writing?
I think one of the best ways to start writing journals, articles for journals, is letters to the editor. They're simple to do in terms of layout and structure, and you can convey a really simple, controversial or pivotal message succinctly. And what we're finding is readers are really looking to letters to the editor to get their information, because often in that short format. And I encourage people to do that. Often work that we do in case reviews or audits in hospitals can be shared really successfully through letters to the editor.
And what kind of support is available?
There's a range of support available to help people write articles for the journal. On the journal's website, there are guidelines for authors which clearly detail what's required as part of the submission process. There's cover letters that are available for download that you can simply copy and paste and add in your relevant information to help ensure that your submission is smooth and you deal with all the necessary issues. There's a checklist available to make sure that you cover off the necessary submission requirements. And the editorial team and associate editors are always more than happy to assist people who are unsure, who have questions about submission process, or whether in fact their topic or idea is worth considering for publication.
So tell us about the submission rate to the journal.
Submissions to the journal are increasing significantly, and we've seen a massive increase in submissions during the course of the last 12 months. This is great benefits for readers who are now seeing really high quality articles in the journal. It's great for authors because this journal is now being recognised in the region, and I would hope that it's going to continue to grow to be a journal of international scholarly significance. We're also seeing a large number of downloads of articles. Again, that's almost doubled in recent years. So the interest in this journal is growing. If you publish in this journal, it is likely that your work is going to be shared both in the Australasian region and more broadly across the international infection control agenda.
Brett, you're an experienced author. So tell us a bit about your experience when you first got started.
It's a difficult process when you first start to submit for journals, and when I started off writing, I had at least 4 or 5 knockbacks from journals before I had something published, and when I had it published, it wasn't in a well-recognised journal. And I think it's important that people recognise that you do need to start small to work your way up. And as I mentioned in previous discussions I've had, letters to the editor are a great way to start to that and build the confidence and understand how the peer review process works. Once you understand that process, you'll be a lot more successful with submissions.
Brett, would you be able to tell us a bit more about the editorial board and the team that puts the journal together?
We have an exceptional editorial board with a range of well-known international and national infection control experts, infectious diseases physicians, and also experts in their own rights in biostatistics and healthcare economics in this area. In bringing that, they bring a range of expertise to the journal which we're able to use and assist authors, and also ensure that the journal has a high quality content. The associate editors on the team are equally well qualified and provide great support to the journal.